From homeless to millionaire, the story of a black man inspired by Elon Musk and Donald Trump. Marcus's hands trembled as he stared at the glittering pendant. The room buzzed with laughter. Champagne glasses clinked. But he felt the world tilt beneath him. A necklace, simple yet heavy with secrets, hung glowing under the chandelier's fake light. It wasn't just jewelry. It was the ghost of his grandmother's past, buried deep where pain and pride tangled. The party was a whirlwind of silk suits and whispered deals. Thomas, the wealthy entrepreneur, had pulled that necklace from a dusty old box tucked inside Marcus's modest home. A home no one expected to exist behind the city's glitz. Marcus had been homeless once, wandering cold streets, stomach echoing emptiness too loud to ignore, until one spark of fierce ambition lit his way. Inspired by Elon Musk's fearlessness and Donald Trump's relentless hustle, Marcus fought for every Thomas frowned, his perfectly trimmed beard twitching with unease. His family's fortune played a haunting tune alongside the necklace's past. Secrets whispered between marble walls suddenly screamed in the open, shaking his control. His rival, slick and ruthless, prowled the edges of this fragile moment, ready to ignite a firestorm for personal gain. Every glance held a warning. Every breath felt like a countdown. Marcus's chest tightened. Memory surged. Nights spent fighting for warmth. The mocking sneers from others who saw nothing in him but a homeless man. But this necklace, shining cold and honest in his palm, stirred something raw and fierce. Identity, pride, pain. The threads of privilege and hardship tangled tighter than ever. Thomas's pulse pounded as he weighed profits against truths. Was wealth worth the cost of buried stories? Would exposing these secrets destroy everything, or finally set them free? Nothing. Suddenly, the storm outside cracked open. Rain slammed windows. A scream split the air. Whispers rose to shouts. Marcus's heart hammered as the rivals closed in. The fragile alliance teetered on a knife's edge. Who would break first? Who would reveal the truth? And just when the night seemed ready to swallow them whole, there was a twist so sharp it shattered the silence. Something no one saw coming exploded into the room, shaking every hope and fear alike. What secrets does that necklace hold? Will Marcus and Thomas's fate tear them apart or build something impossible? The answer hung in the electric air, waiting to explode. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important warning. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube removed their subscriptions without notice. Take a quick look at the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I don't want you to miss any exclusive content that's coming. And since you're here, drop a powerful like that really helps me with the algorithm. Oh, and let me know in the comments, what city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's interact. Marcus's heart pounded, a wild drum echoing in his chest. The storm outside raged like the confusion swirling in his mind. Everyone held their breath. Electricity crackled in the air. The tension felt heavy and thick, like the humidity before a summer storm. And then it happened. A loud crash punctured the moment. The glass doors to the hall burst open. Wind howled. Rain poured in. slicking the floors, sending guests gasping and stumbling backward. Marcus barely registered the chaos. His eyes were glued to the figure silhouetted in the doorway against the blinding light. It was a woman, hair slicked back, drenched from the rain. But the necklace in his hand seemed to pulse, calling out. "Marcus!" she shouted, her voice like a beacon cutting through the storm. He staggered forward, confusion etched on his face. It was his sister, Lena, the sister he thought was lost forever. Their mother had sent Lena to live with relatives years ago when life became unbearable. He never thought he'd see her again, not after everything. Lena rushed into the room, eyes wide, a desperate spark igniting her movements. She looked like a storm unto herself, and in that moment, Marcus forgot the necklace, the party, everything swirling around them. "You need to listen. It's about that necklace." Gasps flared around the room. Thomas looked between Marcus and Lena, his expression shifting from irritation to shocked recognition. "What do you know?" he demanded, the party's energy melting into a frightened hush. "I know everything," Lena breathed, trembling. Her eyes darted, catching glimpses of familiar faces, tension rising. "That necklace, it's more than just a family heirloom. It holds the key to a fortune that's been hidden for generations." A collective murmur washed over the room like a tide, rippling uncertainty. "What are you saying?" Marcus barely managed to stutter, his mind racing. "The necklace isn't just valuable. It's connected to our family's legacy, a fortune stolen from our ancestors." "You were right to hold on to it. It's not just our history, it's also a business, a thriving one, that could change everything." Her voice cracked, urgency rolling off her tongue. "Change what?" Thomas interjected, eyes narrowing. But Marcus only half heard him. It was as if every word Lena spoke created new cracks in the reality he'd clung to. He remembered the stories their grandmother had whispered, half-truths colored by dreams and pains. "But why now?" Marcus pushed, feeling something cold grip his gut. "Why show up after all these years?" Lena swallowed, her gaze piercing. "Because someone wants that necklace, before it's too late, before they silence us." A sharp silence fell, the tension thick like the storm that still raged outside. Whispers morphed into gasps as guests shifted, muscles tensed, eyes darting, fear mingling with intrigue. The elegant party, with its silk suits, was now cloaked in shadows. The storm outside pounded louder, almost matching the chaos still brewing in the room. "What do you mean?" Marcus fought against a rising wave of panic. "What's at stake?" Suddenly, a piercing scream tore through the air, a sound of pure terror. The lights flickered and went out, plunging the room into darkness, the howling wind rising to a deafening roar. And then laughter, cold, cackling laughter, echoed, sharp enough to cut through the tempest. "See? The truth comes out just when you least expect it." The voice was familiar, a sneering rival lurking in the edges, the tension suddenly shifting into a dangerous game. Marcus felt the world tilt beneath him again. Was he ready for the chaos this truth would unleash? The answers felt dangerously close, yet obscured by the shadows now dancing around them. His heart raced with the pulse of the storm. Uncertainty, fear, hope, in a swirling dance leading them all toward the unknown. And in that moment, he knew nothing would ever be the same again. Marcus's heart raced, thunder clapping above as rain pounded against the windows like urgency begging to be heard. The room felt charged, a wild pulse of anticipation crackling in the air. No one knew that lurking in the shadows was a truth ready to rupture everything they believed. Then it exploded. A figure burst through the door. The crowd froze on that sharp edge of chaos. A woman, wild-eyed and breathless, gripped the doorframe. Her clothes were tattered, dark rain stains marking her skin. "Marcus!" she screamed, eyes wide with fear and desperation. "You have to listen! It's about the necklace!" Gasps echoed around the room. Thomas's face drained of color. Marcus felt like he'd stepped into a dream gone wrong. "What are you talking about?" he managed, voice trembling. The weight of the pendant in his hand suddenly felt heavier, a leaden reminder of everything he thought he understood. "Your grandmother!" the woman cried, taking a shaky step forward. She hid something powerful. The necklace holds more than you know." Marcus's mind raced. "What do you mean?" He struggled to catch his breath, memories of his grandmother's tales swirling like ghosts in his mind. "It's a key, Marcus. A key to a land, a legacy that was stolen. Your family." "Maya?" he breathed, recognition crashing over him. He hadn't seen her since they shared the streets, scavengers of hope and dreams. "What are you doing here?" But before she could answer, the lights flickered. Shouts erupted in the crowd, confusion rippling through the room like a wave. Thomas's composure shattered, slick and polished like glass, splintering across the floor. "Security! Get her out!" "No!" Maya shouted, stumbling forward, fear driving her. "I need to tell you the truth! The secrets in that necklace! They tie back to your family, Marcus! Your ancestors! They were not just slaves. They were landowners, rich. They were robbed." For a moment, silence reigned. Friends became foes in hurried glances. Whispers turned to murmurs. Thomas stood tense, face twisted with disbelief. "You're lying," he spat, shaking his head. "This is madness." Maya pressed on, urgency flowing through her. "No, it's real. The truth is buried deep. The necklace isn't just a trinket, it's proof. Proof of something wronged. Do you want to rise on lies or the truth?" Thunder boomed outside, matching the storm brewing in hearts. Marcus stood frozen, grappling with a reality he had never known. Could this be true? A legacy of power hidden beneath layers of shame. Before he could respond, another crash echoed through the room. The plastic glamour shattered as a rival entered. His smirk malicious. "You think you can take this from me?" he sneered, eyes darting between Thomas and Marcus, sensing turmoil. But in that moment, something whispered deep within Marcus. The necklace felt alive. The history awakening. It was not only his fight. It was a reckoning. "I want the truth," Marcus declared, voice steady now. The weight had shifted. The room was electric, each person alive with possibility and fear. Secrets were laid bare, and in that moment, nothing would be the same. With Maya at his side, he turned to face the others. "Are you ready to stand for it?" Outside, the storm raged on. But within, the true tempest began. What other truths lay buried, waiting to be unearthed? The collective breath drawn in anticipation had transformed into a battlefield of revelations, and Marcus realized the starting line of his journey was nothing more than a whisper of what lay ahead. Marcus stood there, heart racing, surrounded by uncertainty and muted gasps. Maya's fiery urgency ignited a spark in the crowd. Yet shadows loomed over them, casting doubt. But he couldn't shake the feeling simmering inside him. The truth was close, it was near. Thunder cracked again outside, fierce and unyielding. "You're right, Maya," he asserted, voice steady amidst the chaos. "We have to uncover what's been hidden." But before anyone could respond, another echoing crash broke through, and the lights flickered violently. The crowd gasped, fear palpable in the air. A figure stepped into the dim light, silhouetted against the storm, his face glinting with a sharp, mischievous smile. It was Victor, the man they all feared, his reputation laced with ruthlessness and cunning. "Did I just hear something about fortunes?" he taunted, eyes glinting with a cruel light. "Secrets, legacies, oh, how delicious!" Marcus's pulse quickened. "Why are you here?" he spat, fists clenching. Victor's laugh rang cold and hollow, weaving through the murmurs of the crowd. "Why am I here?" he echoed mockingly. "To help, of course, or shall I say to reveal?" Marcus felt a chill seep into his bones, the necklace heavy in his palm. All at once, Victor raised a hand, halting the tension that staggered the room. "I have something that changes everything. You want to know about that necklace? You have no idea what you're up against." Panic coursed through Marcus. "What do you mean?" His skin prickled, the weight of every gaze pressing down upon him. A sly grin spread across Victor's face as he leaned closer. "Let's say someone in this very room has been waiting to unleash the truth. About your grandmother, Marcos. About you." Silence fell thick. Marcus Sterle, eyes wide, cerca faces para una flickegare entraña. "Era Thomas, Lena, Maya." Lena gaspó, confusión minglando y temor. "¿Qué tú sabes?" "The necklace was a trap." Víctor espitó, cercándose más atrás. "Tu pasado está guiado con mentiras. Antes de morir, hizo que la verdad se entierre profundo. Pero yo sé el punto donde se encuentra la verdad." Oh, what did she hide? Marcus demanded, voice shaking. He could feel every heart in the room pounding, uncertainty swirling like the storm outside. Victor raised an eyebrow, savoring the moment with sadistic pleasure. "Your grandmother had a brother, Marcus. A brother nobody knew about. Disappeared. Everything was stolen because he wanted to expose the truth." Gasps and whispers rippled through the crowd like wildfire. "No," Marcus whispered, realization crashing over him like cold water. "That can't be," Victor smirked. "But it is. And guess who holds the key to finding him, to finding those hidden fortunes?" All eyes turned to Maya. Marcus felt his stomach drop. You knew this?" he stammered. Maya's face twisted with anguish. I didn't know everything. I didn't think to tell your best friend? Victor interrupted, sneering. You've been playing both sides. The room exploded with accusations, anger, and shock. Thomas shouted, Get her out! She's lying, while others stepped back, eyes wide. But Marcus couldn't tear his gaze from Maya. Why didn't you tell me? Because I didn't want to drag you into this. It's more dangerous than you know, she responded, pleading. Victor watched with satisfaction. Dangerous is an understatement. It's about to get darker, friends. That necklace isn't just a pawn. It's the start of a war, and you're right in the middle of it. Marcus felt a wave of despair wash over him. Trust hung like glass, ready to shatter. Who was his ally? Who was his enemy? And what of his family's true legacy? Thunder rolled outside as the house seemed to close in around him. Marcus stood at the center of chaos, feeling himself unravel. What lay ahead? What secrets still lingered, waiting to deck him with another blow? As panic swelled, he knew this was just the beginning. The storm outside was nothing compared to what was brewing within that room. And as the revelations began to pour, the very essence of his being and those around him trembled on the precipice of devastation. Would the truth bind them together or tear them apart forever? The air crackled with tension. With every second that passed, Marcus clutched the necklace tighter. The storm outside raged, but inside, a different storm brewed. He scanned the room. Thomas's expression shifted. It was more than unease now. It was fear. Then it happened. A sudden crash echoed from the back of the room. Glass shattered. The crowd froze, eyes wide. Everyone turned as a figure stumbled in, clothes tattered, face smeared with dirt. Marcus's heart dropped. It was Tyler, a former street mate, someone he thought had vanished into the shadows forever. Marcus! Tyler's voice was hoarse, but desperation carried every word. You don't know. You don't know what's coming. Before Marcus could respond, Tyler lunged forward, arms flailing, and Tyler's eyes were wide, wild, reflecting a truth more intense than anything Marcus had ever prepared for. Your grandmother! Tyler gasped between breaths. She was caught in it. The fortune she passed down isn't just gold. It's blood. It's tied to our families and all the pain we've suffered. Gasps erupted. The room shifted. Indignant whispers darting back and forth like fireflies. Marcus felt the earth slide beneath him. Memories of his grandmother, her warm smile, and those stories of resilience flickered in his mind. But now, there was something darker lurking in their legacy. Your family made deals. Bad ones, Tyler yelled, voice wavering. Our people were sacrificed for wealth. Your success is built on their backs. The heaviness of truth crashed around Marcus. Could it be? All those years chasing dreams. Was it built on a foundation rotten with betrayal? He was just about to defend himself when Thomas stiffened, his eyes narrowing in realization. You knew, Thomas breathed, disbelief mixed with anger. You let me... No, Marcus cut in, voice raw. I had no idea. My dreams, they were for them, for all of us. I can't! The room erupted. Thomas's rival, lurking on the edges, smirked with gleeful anticipation. "Looks like the mighty millionaire was born from tragedy," he jeered, the words dripping with malice. "Stop!" Marcus shouted, every part of him ignited. He slammed his fists against the table, sending champagne flutes rattling. "This isn't a game! This is my life!" But Tyler was relentless. "Your life? You're standing on a grave! The necklace is a tether! It'll keep dragging our pain back until someone finally acknowledges it." He dropped the pendant back into Marcus's hands, triggering a wave of memories. Pain echoed through his veins, both his own and the collective sorrow of generations. Outside, the storm escalated. Lightning flashed, illuminating the faces, now etched in shock, anger, confusion. The air thickened with uncertainty. Thomas's expression had morphed into something unreadable, a cocktail of emotions struggling for breath. "Marcus," he began, voice low, "this could ruin everything, or it could change everything." "What are you saying?" Marcus replied, the tremor in his voice betraying every hope he harbored. In that charged moment, everything hung in balance. The crowd blinked, disbelief keeping their breaths suspended. Friends became strangers, allies turned hostile. Would Marcus claim his legacy or run away from it? Outside, a deafening clap of thunder echoed, and the chandelier flickered ominously. The night offered no answers, just swirling questions that tangled tighter. Who would stand with Marcus now, and what future held his past? As the storm roared, so too did the whispers among the crowd. Secrets beckoned from the shadows, and Marcus realized that the real battle had only just begun. Marcus stood frozen, the weight of the necklace pressing against his palm like a live wire. The party swirled around him, laughter morphing into panic as the storm outside roared louder. Rain lashed the windows, each drop a countdown to something he could feel crackling in the air. Then, the unthinkable happened. A deafening crash shattered the tense silence. The door burst open, flinging rain and darkness into the room. Gasps erupted from the crowd. Figures slipped in, silhouetted against the lightning. They were hooded, faces hidden, but their intent was clear. "Marcus!" one of them shouted, their voice sharp like glass. "We need to talk." The shock rippled through the spectators. Thomas stumbled back, his expression morphing from confusion to fear. Whispers turned into chaos as guests began to yell and scatter. Champagne flutes dropping to the floor, shattering into jagged pieces. Suddenly, Marcus felt a different kind of fear, not just for himself, but for the man in front of him. "What do you mean?" "Who are you?" His voice quivered, but he stood firm, clutching the necklace as his lifeline. The hooded figure stepped forward, pulling back the fabric to reveal a familiar face. "I'm Jordan," they said, eyes blazing with urgency. "You don't know the truth about that necklace. We need to get out of here, now!" Thomas's eyes darted between Marcus and Jordan. "You know her?" he stammered, disbelief etched on his face. "Know her?" Marcus's heart raced. Memories of laughter and stories spun around his head. Jordan was his sister, the one who vanished years ago. The family had whispered about her disappearance, but now she stood before him, a ghost from a life he fought to escape. "What's happening?" Marcus demanded, the grip on the necklace tightening, its power shifting in his hand. "Everything you think you know is a lie," Jordan shot back, urgency flooding her words. "That necklace, it's tied to more than just our family. It holds secrets that could destroy everything you've built. Thomas's family, your dreams, all of it." Connections whipped through Marcus's mind. His ambition, Thomas's fortune, it all felt like a web spun from lies. "What do you mean?" Before Jordan could respond, the door creaked open wider, and another figure stepped in. Sudden, stark, and familiar. It was Marcus's childhood friend, Elijah. "They're coming. They know you have it, Marcus." The room erupted into chaos, people screaming and pushing past one another in panic. The pendant burned in Marcus's palm, igniting something deep within him. A mixture of fury and confusion. "Who's coming? What do they want?" "Elijah, get everyone out. We need to protect Marcus," Jordan shouted, her voice piercing the commotion. In that moment, the ground felt like it was shifting beneath Marcus's feet. The room spun, each heartbeat pulsing with fear and adrenaline. "Your success is part of a bigger game," Jordan continued, barely audible over the noise. "Those who seek the necklace are after power, our power. Silence the past and control the future." Every word ripped through Marcus like a blade. His dreams, his rise from nothing, were tangled in a legacy he had yet to understand. The pendant pulsed in his hand, a reminder of what was at stake. With rain pounding against the windows and voices clamouring for answers, Marcus faced a terrifying choice. Confront the hidden truths of his lineage, or surrender to the darkness approaching fast. What had he truly inherited? And would he be able to wield it when the storm finally broke? The answers loomed, just out of reach, swirling in the chaotic evening, like the ever-rising tide. The air crackled, and the storm outside roared like an angry beast. The rain pounded against the windows, so hard it sounded like 1,000 fists. And just then, as if the universe held its breath, the door slammed open. A figure rushed in, drenched and wild-eyed. It was Sarah, Marcus's childhood friend, the one person who had clung to hope through all those dark nights. Her hair clung to her face, and her clothes were soaked through, but panic and urgency radiated from her very being. She gasped for air, her chest rising and falling as if she had just run a marathon. "They're coming! You have to listen!" Her voice cut through the chatter, piercing the laughter and the clinking of glasses. Silence fell like a heavy curtain, all eyes turning to her. Marcus's heart sank. "Who's coming, Sarah?" "Ooh." His voice trembled, squeezing past the fear choking him. "Your grandmother!" "Cheese!" Before Sarah could finish, a loud crash echoed from the back of the room. Glass shattered, voices erupted into chaos, and Marcus felt a whirlwind of fear spin around him. He turned, eyes wide, searching for the source of the disturbance. Then, through the rubble of shattered expectations, a man stepped forward, tall and imposing, a smirk plastered across his face. It was a face Marcus recognized all too well. A ghost from his past. Jason, the slick businessman who had tormented him on the streets. A rival who thrived off others' misery. "Miss me?" he crooned with a mockingly charming grin. "What are you doing here?" Marcus spat, his fists clenching by his sides. The necklace in his palm felt heavier, as if it knew the storm of trouble facing him. "Just came to collect what's mine," Jason said, gesturing casually, "and it looks like that chain got yourself into the wrong hands, Marcus." His eyes flicked towards Thomas. "Tell him, or I will." Thomas paled. Confusion swirled in the air like smoke. "What do you mean?" he asked, anxiety creeping into his tone. With a twisted smile, Jason stepped closer, lowering his voice like he was about to share a dark secret. "It belonged to a pawn shop owner who disappeared, don't you know? And your little friend here," he pointed at Sarah, whose face was ghostly white, "knows more than she lets on." The room held its breath, tension so thick it felt suffocating. Marcus looked at Sarah. "What does he mean, Sarah?" She looked lost, torn between loyalty and fear. "I didn't want you to find out like this. I thought it was for the best." "But the necklace," her voice broke. Suddenly, a deafening clap of thunder erupted outside, shaking the room. The world outside felt alive, chaotic. Jason smirked again, clearly enjoying the chaos he'd wrought. "You see, the necklace doesn't just hold your family's past. It's tied to a hidden fortune, stolen, blood money, all of it. Yours now?" Marcus's chest tightened. He struggled to breathe, the weight of everything crashing down on him. "What do you mean? What are you trying to say?" "I'm saying," Jason's words were slick and smooth, sliding into their minds like oil, "you're in the middle of a war, my friend. Not just for survival, but for power. And with that necklace, you hold the key to everything. Wealth, legacy, or your downfall." Panic surged in a wave. Was this all a game? And what about his grandmother? The questions clawed at him, tearing apart the very fabric of his reality. As murmurs began to rise again, the cracks formed deeper. Could Marcus trust Sarah? And what truly lay buried with that necklace? The air electrified with uncertainty as rain battered the windows more fiercely. Every heartbeat echoed the same whisper of dread. What had he really stumbled into? The truth loomed large, waiting to crash over them like the storm outside. The air crackled, and the storm raged outside, but an uneasy silence hung inside the room. Marcus was reeling, trying to process Jason's words. The weight of the necklace pulsed in his palm, a reminder of everything he couldn't yet understand. But then, something changed in the atmosphere, an electric jolt that slithered through the crowd. The lights flickered, and a tense hush fell, as if everyone held their breath. Suddenly, a deafening crash echoed from the back of the room, and the air turned thick with panic. From the shadows emerged a tall figure, drenched and wild-eyed. It was a woman, someone Marcus recognized, but had never thought he'd see again. "Mom?" he whispered, barely able to believe his eyes. The room felt like it froze. Time stopped as she stepped into the unsteady light, breathless and looking older than he remembered. Her eyes met his, filled with an intensity that pierced through him like a blade. "Marcus, it's worse than you think." Gasps erupted around him. Thomas recoiled, his expression twisting into disbelief. "Your mother? But how?" "Enough," she shouted, raising a hand to silence them. "There's no time. The truth needs to come out." "What truth?" Marcus forced the words out, his heart racing. "Your family's legacy. It's built on lies and blood, and it doesn't just stop with a necklace." Her voice rang with urgency, every syllable laced with tension. "The necklace is a map, a key to something darker than you've ever imagined." "What do you mean?" Diva squeezed the words from her, uncertainty creeping into his tone. "Everything we lived for, to escape that life, was built on the sacrifices of others," she said, trembling. "You're not safe, Marcus. They will come for you." "I can handle it," Marcus shouted, the fear shooting through him sharp and raw. "I've worked too hard to lose it all now." "You don't understand." But before he could finish, another crash echoed through the room. This time, the tension snapped like a taut wire. "Get back!" Sarah screamed as a figure stormed in behind Marcus's mother, a man, rough around the edges, with a glint of fury in his eyes. It was the last person Marcus expected to see. "Mom? What are you doing here?" "Jason's been looking for me," she replied, her hands shaking. "I couldn't hide anymore." The crowd erupted into chaos, faces blurring in panic. Marcus's heart raced, confusion boiling over. "What do you mean?" He stepped closer, eyes darting between his mother and this new threat, desperation nipping at his heels. "I'm the one who sent Jason," she revealed, voice low and trembling. "I thought I could protect you by steering you away from the truth, but now—" "Protect me from what?" Rage boiled in Marcus's chest. "From my past? From our legacy? Or from you?" The room fell silent, the rain pounding like a drum. Marcus felt a tight knot in his stomach. "You used me," he whispered. "Betrayal, stabbing, deep." "No, it wasn't like that." "I thought." "Nothing was ever what it seemed." Jason cut in, his voice dripping with venom. "Didn't you know? You thought you could keep this man safe, protect your secrets? But all it's done is lead to one big lie." A chilling breeze sliced through the crowd, the atmosphere thick with tension and fear. Faces turned toward Marcus, their dread tangible. A wave of betrayal swept through him, crashing hard. "How could you? You put me in danger!" He wanted to scream, to make her feel every ounce of pain he carried. "Marcus," his mother said, desperation lacing her tone. But it was too late. Before he could react, an explosion of violence erupted. Jason lunged forward, grabbing the necklace, just as the lights flickered and then went out completely. Darkness enveloped them, chaos reigniting like a spark in dried underbrush. A conflagration of truths, lies, and fear. In that instant, Marcus faced the abyss of uncertainty, realizing that everything he thought he knew was dangling by a thread. "Who's there?" someone shouted, panic rising. "Get back!" Lena screamed, grasping for stability as the world turned upside down. But Marcus was lost in shadows, breathless and reeling. The storm raged outside, but within, a tempest brewed. Secrets colliding like thunder, threatening to unravel everything he held dear. Would he be consumed by the very legacy he sought to reclaim? The room was engulfed in darkness, tension unraveling like a tightly wound spring. As Marcus's heart pounded in his chest, a piercing scream shattered the silence. ricocheting off the walls. "Get down!" someone shouted, followed by a loud crash that sent everyone sprawling. Shadows darted, fear blossoming like wildflowers. Marcus's breath quickened. "What's happening?" He clutched the necklace, its familiar weight now strangely comforting and unnerving. He could feel panic radiating from the others, the frantic energy rising like smoke in the air. Just then, the lights flickered back on, and Marcus's eyes widened. In the midst of the chaos stood his mother. But she wasn't alone. A younger boy, no more than 10, clutched her leg. His mop of curly hair stuck to his forehead, and his eyes were wide with terror. "Mom, please!" the boy cried, looking up at her with desperation. "Daniel?" Marcus's voice trembled, caught in a web of disbelief. "What are you doing here?" His mother's face transformed, a mix of guilt and fear washing over her. "I had to bring him, Marcus. They would have taken him otherwise. It's all connected." "Who is they?" Marcus shouted, frustration boiling over. The room buzzed with murmurs, confusion painting every face. "Dad, what's going on?" Jordan stepped closer, her brow furrowed with realization. "It's the same people searching for the necklace. They want your family's secrets, Marcus, and now they know you've been hiding something." Tension thickened, curling around them. Eyes darted between Marcus and Daniel, confusion twisting the air. "How could you?" Marcus started, but his mother cut him off. "It's not you they want. It's the necklace. It's everything. Your great-grandfather was forced to bury the truth to protect the bloodline. Daniel is part of that bloodline. You're all tied together." Marcus's breath caught. Daniel was his brother, a brother he never knew existed. "My brother?" The very word sent shockwaves through him. The crowd reacted with gasps, whispers exploding into a cacophony of disbelief. "This is madness!" Sarah's voice cut through the chaos. "You lied to him about all this?" "Mom, how could you keep this from me?" Marcus felt betrayal wrapping around him like a vice. "What did you do?" "I did it to protect you, Marcus." Her voice cracked, tears pooling in her eyes. "I was trying to save you from the very family that turned their backs on us." "Save me or save yourself?" The words slipped out like daggers, catching everyone off guard. The figures in the shadows shifted closer, cast in the stark light of realization. "You've stirred up a hornet's nest," Jason sneered, his eyes gleaming with malicious delight. "This changes everything." "Changes what?" Marcus snapped, his heart racing. But before anyone could respond, a deafening bang erupted from outside. The windows rattled as a flurry of footsteps echoed. Panic surged. They were here. It all made sense now. The necklace, the legacy, the tangled web of secrets threatening to unravel. Relationships twisted, the trust shattered. And in that moment, as the door burst open and figures swarmed in, Marcus knew he had to protect Daniel at all costs. But first, figure out the truth about his family's past and the necklace that held the key to everything. Would he unravel the lies, or would this storm tear them apart forever? The room felt alive with questions, and as the shadows closed in, one thing was clear. The real battle was just beginning. As the storm raged outside, the room buzzed with chaos. Marcus stood frozen, heart pounding, as Jason's smile twisted into a snarl. I know where your family's secrets lie, Marcus. You think you can just waltz in here with that necklace and not face the consequences? Marcus felt the weight of his mother's fear around him. What does that mean? He demanded, fists clenching involuntarily. The girl holding Daniel, his brother, looked scared, wide eyes darting from him to his mother. Get your brother out of here! His mother screamed, pushing Daniel behind her as she faced Jason. This isn't about him! It's about the past! Thunder boomed overhead, a drum roll for the impending clash. The crowd shifted, fear cutting through them like a knife. But the necklace, his anchor to everything, felt different now. Heavier, yet potent with purpose. Then, a voice sliced through the storm. Enough! We're not here to fight amongst ourselves. Lena, Marcus's sister, stepped forward. She looked angry yet resolute. Jason, you need to stop this. We access the truth together, or nobody wins. Why would I listen to you? Jason barked, narrowing his eyes. You're just another one of them. But in that split second, a realization washed over Marcus. This wasn't just about the necklace or family legacies. It was about standing together against a force that sought to divide them. Jason, the truth hurts, but it's the only way. You want the necklace? It's not just a trinket. It's history. Our family history. The crowd held its breath, tension vibrating in the air. I will fight for what's right! Marcus snapped, stepping forward, his heart racing. And if it means exposing everything, so be it. What do you plan to do, huh? Jason scoffed, but there was hesitation in his voice now. You're standing at a crossroads of power, Marcus. His words hovered thick in the air, yet Marcus pushed forward, rallying the onlookers. This isn't just about one man's gain. I refuse to let our past dictate our future. We can change the narrative. A collective energy sparked in the room. A slight shift, a sense of solidarity. Faces softened, and people edged closer. What do we have to lose? Sarah spoke up, her voice steady. Let's uncover this together. Daniel's small hand squeezed Marcus's. The gesture carried more weight than he knew. We can't let fear dictate our lives, Marcus continued, looking into his brother's eyes. We face this together. Just then, another crash echoed through the door. More figures entered, this time with an air of authority. Agents of some kind, bearing court orders. We're looking for something more than just a necklace, one of them said, glancing at Jason. We have reason to believe you've kept valuable evidence hidden. Marcus felt the chaos shift again. Tension, intertwining with hope. What if we confront the truth? Not just ours, but for everyone. He proposed, the weight of his ancestors' pain surging through him. Together? Lena echoed, stepping up beside him. Together, Marcus affirmed, and the room seemed to breathe anew, the air thick with promise. But in that instant, Jason's expression morphed from smugness to determination. Fine, let's do this. But no, there is no going back. He turned, ready to face the storm outside, as Marcus felt the surge of a new beginning. Where do we go from here? Someone whispered, uncertainty still thick in the air. Marcus clasped the necklace tightly, feeling its energy snap back to life. We go forward, towards the truth, and whatever we find, we will embrace it. The words echoed, reverberating off the walls like the storm still thrumming outside. Ooh, the past would rise, tangled and heavy, but so would courage, collective strength, reinvigorated by the bonds they forged through struggle. And with that, as the rain poured down, everyone stepped toward the door, ready to face the world outside together. The chaos settled into a determined calm, as their hearts beat in unison, conscious of the complex journey ahead. As they crossed the threshold, permeated by the electric anticipation of the unknown, Marcus caught a fleeting glimpse of hope beneath the shadows of uncertainty. If they could confront their pain, maybe, just maybe, they could change their fate. And just like that, the chapter closed. But the story? The story was just beginning. If you love this journey, you have to subscribe now. You don't want to miss a single second of the exclusive stories coming your way. Smash that like button to keep this community alive. Flood the comments with your thoughts and theories about the ending. Your voice matters. A.